The Gamecocks are 9-0, and they will head to the upstate on Friday to take on the Clemson Tigers in college baseball's best rivalry. And we'll talk baseball with one of the best baseball guys I know, the associate head coach of your Gamecocks, Monte Lee. I got a surprise for you. I'll give it to you next week. See that?
Sweet. I
Oh,
like it.
it's not
I'm
coming. There
digging
you
it.
go. There you go. Yep.
Thank you very much.
I got it in the mail the other day. I thought, well, shoot, how am I going to get this to him? And then I forgot y'all come to the Citadel. So if I can bring it to you at the Citadel, if you got a bag to put it in, we'll do that. I might, unless I wear it before then.
I appreciate it. That's a good
Yep.
looking hat.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they you could get them at for folks wondering, Gamecock Traditions. Ryan Bowens actually he was at the game last night. I saw that on Twitter. He's a big Carolina fan, and he's done it. He's got a great business. You're in a pretty good business too, Monty. 14-4 last night, the final score. We all like to see the ball leave the yard, and it certainly did that last night. And now we'll turn our attention here just a little bit to this coming weekend. But you're 9-0. Give us an evaluation of what you've seen so far.
Well, I'm very, very pleased. I think we all are, very pleased with how our team has played. With myself being on the position player side, I feel like overall, if you look at what we've been able to do, Coach Mainieri has done a great job of playing a lot of guys. I mean, if you look, we've played so many of our position players. Anytime we've gotten an opportunity to, throw in somebody in this position and give them a spot start here or a pinch hit at bat or just time on the field. I think he's done a great job of being able to just get a lot of the personnel involved and, getting the bench involved and playing a lot of guys. And you look at from a production standpoint, I feel like offensively, we keep getting just a little bit better and better and better every single game. The quality of the at bats over the Milwaukee series, I felt like we're better than the Sacred Heart series. Our midweek games, we've swung the bats very well. We've hit the ball hard. Um, last night hit for some power, which was good to see. But, we've done a really good job of just attacking the strike zone, attacking fastballs. Going into yesterday, I think we were number one in the country in hardest outs. Like we've hit a lot of balls hard that have been caught too. So our guys have really bought into just being on the attack. Feel like we've done a good job of competing better with two strikes, putting more balls in play with two strikes. Um, we've done a great job executing the hit and runs and getting our bunts down. We've stolen some bases. Need to be a little bit better with runners in scoring position. Feel like sometimes our guys probably press a little bit in those situations. But all in all, we've swung the bats pretty well, in my opinion. Defensively, we've played great defense. Our pitching staff's done a phenomenal job. I mean, you're not sitting at 9-0. I guess we're 9-0. You're not going to be sitting at 9-0 if you don't pitch and play defense. And Coach Rooney and the pitching staff have just done a tremendous job of pounding the strike zone and letting what I believe is a good defensive ball club, a much improved defensive ball club. Just letting those guys make plays, and for the most part, we've done a good job of that.
Yeah, to your point, a 2.25 team ERA now, 105 Ks through 76 innings, and just 23 walks. You see Will Crowe here. I don't know if y'all want to be facing guys like Will Crowe, but Will, I'm going to let you get in here just a minute, but I want to ask him some questions specifically about some of his players. One of them is Nathan Hall, who has not come out of that leadoff spot thus far this year. And he's a good-looking kid, Monty. When he gets two strikes on him, it looks like he changes something in the box. So what have y'all worked on with him?
Yeah, so we basically, the way that we define it with the players is A hack and B hack. So A hack is before two strikes, and then B hack is with two strikes. So what we would define as a B hack is basically when you get two strikes on you, there's a mental adjustment. It's more of a mental adjustment and a field of play adjustment than it is a physical one. Some guys will have more of a physical adjustment where they'll choke up a little bit or spread out or move up on the plate a little bit. Nathan's one of those guys that makes a mental and a physical adjustment. But big thing we want to do when we get into two strike counts is we just want to let the ball travel, see the ball up in the zone. We know that most hitters, when they chase out of the strike zone and strike out, the chase is down, off speed pitch is down. So we just want to see the ball up. I'll constantly be yelling from the third base box, hey, get it up and deep. And just use the whole field. We try to cut the field in half. We basically take like the foul line for a right-handed hitter and just move it to second base, and that's your field of play. And then for a left-handed hitter, take the right field foul line, move it to second base, and that's your field of play. So we want to let the ball get deeper, use the whole field, and just be tougher outs. And Nathan, good example of that last night. They were off speeding him to death, and he gets 2 strikes on him, and then they just try to throw like one fastball, by him, just to see if they could speed him up. And, he was looking fastball on the outside corner, doing a good job of covering away with 2 strikes, and he just hammered it, hit it over 400 feet, but he wasn't trying to hit a home run. He was just trying to just be a good 2-strike hitter and see the ball deeper and just got a good pitch to hit. But Nathan makes a physical adjustment. He'll spread out. Jace Woida, hit a 2-strike home run yesterday to the opposite field. He's a guy that'll spread out and basically go with like a no stride. We have a number of guys that'll make physical adjustments, but it's more of a mental adjustment and an approach adjustment with 2 strikes that we try to get our guys to do.
Yeah, you mentioned Woida. Give us a story on him here. My understanding of this, Monty, I'm pretty sure it was Coach Mainieri that had mentioned it. I guess he had struggled in some scrimmages, maybe in the fall. I'm not so sure about the spring, but he's not struggling right now. He looks like a volleyball. That first one he hit out last night, it almost looked like it almost looked like Petry's first home run this year, out a little bit on the front foot, but good hands and just he's got so much power. So give us the backstory. What have y'all been working on and to get him to this point here?
Well, Jace is always a good hitter. I mean, when we signed Jace in the spring last year, he was probably the best uncommitted junior college hitter in the country out there that was unsigned. And so we obviously took a shot at him. We needed left-handed hitters, and I recruited him, and we signed him. And when he got here in the fall, he was solid. The one thing that you could see with Woida had a pretty good feel for the strike zone. He didn't chase a ton. He would put together good at bats. He squared some balls up and had some success. But the one thing he didn't do is he didn't throw at bats away. He just looked like a guy that could handle an at bat. He would have a professional at bat. If the ball was off the plate, he wouldn't swing. If the ball was over the plate, he would take a good hack, and he could use the whole field. So we could see a lot of promise in him as a hitter. His results were kind of mixed in the fall, and we made some adjustments with him. Like we made some swing adjustments with him just to put him in a better position to hit, and his swing got so much better, and that's a testament to how hard this kid works. But he was not seeing the results when we came back in the spring. I mean, the swing looked better. He was making more solid quality contact, but he was trying to do a little bit too much in the inner squads, chasing, pitches out of the zone, over swinging. He's a natural left center field, type hitter, and was just really probably trying to do too much to earn a spot, in the lineup, and he struggled some. And then, again, Coach Mainieri just doing a really good job of trying to get a lot of different guys involved. Gave him a start, and I think it was up at Winthrop. Was his first start. He smoked 2 balls at Winthrop. Basically won the game against Queens. For us, and then last night. Did a really good job of staying on the ball with 2 strikes, and then got a first pitch fastball. They tried to go fastball in the second at bat, and they didn't get it quite in enough, and he hit it in the bullpen. So he's done a pretty good job so far.
Go ahead, Will.
I mean, yeah, it's that first home run last night. I know how hard it is for guys to pull the ball out into that little area in left field. He looked a little out front. He smoked that ball. I'm super impressed with him. Mine, I was going to ask you, that lineup that y'all rolled out last night, as of right now, does that look like the strongest lineup for power? With not only power but also experience. Basically everything you want a lineup to look like. That's deep lineup. I mean, I know Kazmar. He was at 7 or 8 last night, and I mean, he's a 330 hitter as well. So, I mean, that's a deep, deep lineup with some real power potential. Do y'all think that's the best lineup we're putting out right now?
That's a good question. I would say it's a really good lineup. I mean, you look at, again, Kaz has had some tough luck too. His numbers, probably don't reflect, the types of at bats that he's having. He had a big hit, base hit RBI last night. He drew a walk and he lined out to center field with 2 strikes on him, hit a ball pretty good last night too. But I mean, you got, again, the Rocky at second base. Rock is swinging the bat really well. Petry's Petry. I'm been super pleased with our catchers. I mean, every one of those guys. I mean, Coffer gets his first start, and he was a little banged up, and he's back to healthy. He gets a start, and I mean, good Lord, hits a home run, and then drew 3 walks, and he's a good player, and he's a good catcher, and Bates, has had some really really bright spots as well, and so we've just been very pleased with those guys. Scobie, he's a freshman, but he shows his potential. Last night hit his first home run, and he's hit some balls pretty good. And boy, can he play defense at third base.
Yeah.
And the outfield. I mean, the outfield's been just very good. I mean, again, you look at, we got Kennedy. We got Nate Hall. We've got Mayshore, who's a grinder. Who can really play defense and can hit and run, and just will fight you to death. And then you got Blake Jackson, and Blake's been in and out. And I mean, Blake's an older, experienced player who's a really good player too. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good lineup. But I think the fact that, look, we feel very confident about playing a number of guys. If if we need to play Will Tippett, we can play Will Tippett. We give Will Tippett a start, and he's 4 for 5. You get Jordan Carry-On in there for a start, and he gets a couple hits. I mean, there's some depth to this lineup, and some guys it's just a solid freaking baseball team. I mean, I think that's the thing that I like about this group is it's just a solid group. You can get good production offensively. Guys can run, we can bunt, we can hit and run. We got a little bit of power and play pretty good defense. I think we can stay in the ball game just because we've been pretty consistent so far.
Monte Lee joining us, 10:35. Wow. Here on Wednesday, couple of days away from South Carolina and Clemson. So Kennedy, we know what Kennedy's capable of. Looks like maybe y'all had made some minor adjustments with him too, Monty. It just looks to me like his hands are maybe kind of already in that hitting position when he gets in the box. And it looks like you tell me if I'm wrong here. This is just watching it. Looks like he's maybe working on some timing stuff up there, trying to kind of get that down, and probably once he does, watch out. But give us your evaluation of him.
Yeah, I mean, Ken's an older, experienced player. I think, Kennedy is, he's setting his hands a little bit farther back, this year, simply because Kennedy's not a guy that's ever really had a great feel for getting his hands back into a good position. He started to bat flatter. He started to bat, flat and back. And now, he's just holding his hands back there and just kind of loading into the ground and hitting. He tattooed the baseball in the preseason. So, I think he's hit some balls good. He's having good at bats. I think Kennedy would tell you he's probably not squared the ball up quite to what he was doing before the season started, where he was probably our best hitter going into the season. But I mean, you look at, Kennedy hit a ball against Queens to center field. That was an out that was just laced. Last night he got in a 1-2 count, hit a slider, to the left field wall. I mean, for a double, had a base hit RBI out the middle. So he's had some really, really good at bats and is doing some good things. So I'm not overly concerned, really with Kennedy right now. I feel like Kennedy's been a good hitter the whole time he's been in college, and we expect him to do big things for us, this year. So we feel good about Kennedy.
It's just a matter of time. I mean, when he walks to the plate, he looks scary. You know what I mean? He's just he's got that presence, the shades. Like I could never hit. I couldn't hit anyways, but I could certainly not with shades on. Monty, one of the things that I think has been so awesome. I mean, I know how you do things too, but just seeing how Coach Mainieri, how y'all combined with this group. And you mentioned a minute ago Kazmar, right? And Will pointed out, I think he hit 330 last year at Ohio State. It's not like it's not like he was playing some podunk league out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, he was playing in the Big Ten. And you look at like a guy like Lee Crowe, and you look at his numbers, and if you hadn't seen him play this year, you're going, what's going on? Well, I've watched him play every game, and I don't know if anybody's hit as many balls as hard as he has that have just been right at people too. So the way that y'all handle this, like, hey, man, it's going to come. It feels to me like these guys are not feeling any pressure, regardless of what numbers up on that scoreboard. They're very comfortable in their own skin when they step in the box, and they're excited to do whatever comes next.
Yeah, I think the big thing for us, I mean, again, you look at Talmadge, but Talmadge has hit has hit balls harder than just about everybody in the lineup. He just has had some tough luck.
Yeah.
We just talk about making hard contact. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not about chasing hits. It's about chasing barrels. We want to catch barrels. And we know that over the course of time, that if we keep hitting balls hard, they're going to find holes, and we're going to be just fine as long as we keep catching barrels. And I'm proud of the fact that our outs have been loud. You don't see a lot of weak pull side ground balls and pop ups, like a lot of line outs, a lot of hard ground balls, a lot of balls that are just being hit hard. And at the end of the day, that's all the hitter can control, right? Does he get a good pitch to hit? Is he on time to it? Does he put a good swing on it and catch it on a barrel? And I feel like our guys have really just bought into that. Like we're going to hunt the fastball, we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to try to catch barrels. And so far, it's worked. And the guys, again, I feel like our offense just steadily keeps getting a little bit better, day in and day out. We know there are going to be some ups and downs, and injuries will come into the mix, but I do love the energy of this group. It's just a steady Eddie type play of this group. They show up every day. They work hard. They play hard. Like our team plays hard, and that's just Coach Mainieri. Coach Mainieri's he's tough. He's very demanding. He has super high expectations for how we practice and how we play, and you can see a difference, in this group. They've really bought in and are doing a great job so far. And look, we know we got a long way to go, but so far the guys have been doing a good job.
So, don't want to cut you off, Jamie, but dealing with the hard hit stuff, and I know you pointed at you guys are first in the nation or top, I'm sure top 3, maybe even 1, but do y'all have a system or some type of, I don't want to say rewarding system, but like, do y'all count in or count the number of quality at bats you guys have, or like things like that, so the guys know, like, hey, instead of just looking at the simple data, here's your average, here's where you are. I know you look into more detailed stuff, but do you guys have a little system where you can go, hey, listen here, it's not going your way so far, but we're keeping up with it, and you've got 7 out of every 10 times you come to the plate, you're hitting the ball hard. Like, this is a quality at bat. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, so I'll show you guys. So this is my game chart. I've been using it for years, and basically, like, what we chart during every game is quality at bats per player. So we look at, how many 15 plus pitch innings we have on offense, because we know, Will, as a starter, if I make you throw 20 plus pitches in an inning and I make you do that several times, you're going to have to come out of the game an inning too early, right? Which means we get into the bullpen an inning earlier than our opposition would expect to have to use their relievers. Now we start getting into the bullpen and burn up the bullpen. So, we count quality at bats. We value the big inning, and we count quality at bat percentage is far more important than batting average. I honestly don't look at batting average, all that much. I look at the quality at bat percentage. We want our guys to be at 50% quality at bats. If you are at 50% quality at bats as a team, you're going to score 7+ runs per game on average. You score 7+ runs per game on average, you're going to win north of 88% of the time. So for us, it all pretty much starts and ends with quality at bats, and that can be a hit by pitch, that can be getting a bunt down, that can be a situational move a runner or get a runner in, a hard out. It doesn't have to be a hit. Like, we don't just judge ourselves based on hits. It's more about just having good quality at bats, and we do. Yes, I bought them Chipotle cards. I bought them Smoothie Kings. I mean, I bought them all kind of stuff.
Yes.
To reward them. So they love that kind of stuff. But yes, we chart quality at bats. That's our number one indicator of success.
Hey, some of the guys that I went to school with, if you would have given them gift cards to like Dr. Rocco's and 5 Points, they would have never been out. They would have been on base every time they came to the plate. Hey, beer's on me. Shit, Coach, I'm 5 for 5 tonight. I can tell you that right now.
I'll get you a Chipotle bowl. I ain't taking you to 5 Points now.
That's funny. Oh, that is funny. By the way, those Chipotle bowls are really good too. They're better for you than the burritos. Are you okay for like another like 4 or 5 minutes? Is that
sure?
Is that
yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't run out of time with you. That caught me off guard. The young guy you mentioned, Scobie. Man, he's elite over there at third. He sees it so well off the bat. You know, he knows what hop to come and get, and really all these guys have played excellent on defense. I think Petry was a little cold at first on that ball that he dropped a couple of games ago. The look on his face, he was like, "You got to be kidding me." But these guys they've been excellent. But Monty, when I mean, you know this league better than all, right? And when you get into this league, if you're a freshman and you're starting, it's very easy to feel pressure when you're not producing at the level that you were wherever you were playing before this, summer ball or high school, and you're not generally going to. But and sometimes when you're not doing it at the plate, it's easy for that to carry over to whatever you're doing defensively. Bo Holland's even coming around offensively now and things like that. But how do y'all manage that with these young guys so they don't feel anything? They just go out there and play ball.
Well, look, it's a fine balance. I mean, I think it's a fine balance in that, you understand, I think, as a coach, that he's a freshman and that he's gonna take some lumps. There's gonna be some times where, he's not aggressive enough. There's gonna be times where he's overly aggressive and, chases too much and tries to do too much. There's gonna be times where he's afraid to make mistakes, so he might get a little passive. I think the one thing that Coach Mainieri really tries to preach to the guys is just to be super aggressive all the time. And KJ, KJ is going to be held to the same standard, the same expectations as everybody else. Like, we're not going to look at him and say, "Hey, man, you're a freshman, and we expect less out of you." And I think he understands that, and he also understands that, hey, he can impact the game in a lot of different ways. He doesn't just have to impact the game with his bat. He did last night, hit a big home run, but he impacts us every single day on defense and our pitching staff. When we make pitches and get, ground balls, you feel pretty good when the ball's hit the third base right now, because that guy can really play defense. Somebody asked me many years ago, like, how do you evaluate infielders? I said, it's pretty simple. Like, I either get excited or I get nervous when the ball's hit to them. It's one or the other. And that's the truth. It really is the truth. Like, if you want to say, can the guy play defense? You're either excited the ball's hit to him or you're nervous. Well, when they hit the ball to third base, I'm pretty excited because I feel like he's going to make every single play for us. So, and he's Coach Mainieri values defense. He spends a lot of time with our infielders, and he believes in KJ, and he's done a great job of molding KJ into the type of player that he wants him to be. And I think the kid's only going to get better and better, as the season progresses. And he's in a good spot right now.
Is that how you evaluated him too, Will? God, please don't hit it to my shortstop. Please don't hit it to my shortstop.
He had some pretty good shortstops.
South Carolina, you were good. You were fine.
In 21, it was all right. You can hit it to the left side of the infield. I had Newman and Ke'Bryan Hayes at short and third, and it was all right. I can throw a changeup to a right-handed hitter. If they hit it to the left side, it's an out. I don't got to worry about nothing. That's perfect. That's exactly right.
What was going on the right sside?
Well, we didn't really have a first baseman.
Oh,
we didn't really. So it was. We had a catcher playing there. We had an outfielder playing there. We never really had the right guys out there on first. So, sorry. Ground ball left side, we're good. Ground ball the right side, we're gonna pray. We're a little nervous. So.
You got to have a guy who can catch it at first. Kind of teeing up what's coming up this weekend, Monty. You know both sides of it, so I always certainly love your perspective of this series. It is. I think it goes without saying. It's the best rivalry in the country. I would put Ole Miss and Mississippi State in the same category. Certainly, when it comes to quality of player and quality of coach and the fans and what's on the line and things like that. But it also doesn't determine really anything that's going to happen with your season. Not to downplay wins and losses. I know fans hate to hear that, but it doesn't determine what's going to happen the rest of the way home. I got to make sure that I'm careful about how I say this, Monty. You know me, I'm not into gotcha stuff at all. But last night, Coach Bakich mentioned that they talk about this series every day, which I found kind of interesting. We all know what this series means to Gamecock baseball and to its fans, but what in the process of being one of the coaches on that staff there, whether you're the head coach or the associate head coach or whatever, what is the day-to-day process? And does this series come up before it gets here, or are y'all focused on what we're doing each day?
Look, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think, look, you wouldn't be human if you didn't know when the Palmetto series is coming up, right? I mean, week 3 what's coming up. I think the players are aware of it, the coaches are aware of it, but it's not coach talk. Coach Mainieri, he told the guys before we played Gardner-Webb that this was going to be a big game for us. The Gardner-Webb game was going to be a big game for us because we need to be focused. We need to attack this team, play our best baseball. He made it very apparent that we need to focus on Gardner-Webb. We haven't. The first time he mentioned Clemson was post game to the team after the win last night. Like he is very, very big on one game at a time, focusing on the task at hand and playing our best baseball today. So we were not looking ahead whatsoever. We haven't even talked about Clemson. And I'll be honest with you, and I think Will would agree with this. Like you can't get too far ahead of yourself in this game. You start looking to whether it's a Clemson or an SEC weekend, and you're playing a midweek game. You start looking ahead, or you're not as dialed in and as focused as you need to be. It's going to show up. So I think championship level teams and programs, they just focus on the next game, and that's what we've done. Now we obviously turn our attention to Clemson, and look, it's an exciting weekend, right? Because you get a chance to play in front of huge crowds and 3 great ballparks against a great opponent in Clemson. They got a great team. And look, it's rivalry weekend. It's a lot of fun. Energy will be through the roof, on in both dugouts and out on the field of play, and it'll be a lot of fun for the players and for the fans.
What's the funniest thing somebody's ever yelled at you from the stands, regardless of what side you're on?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't. I can't necessarily recall anything funny. I will tell you, they got on me pretty good when we played up there last year.
I'm sure.
But that's okay. Look, I mean look, this series is about the players. The thing that's been so much fun for me, having been on both sides, I've done 51 South Carolina Clemson games in the dugout.
What? 51?
51. Yeah, 6. We play 4 times a year when I was at SC the first time, so that's 6 years, and then 7 years at Clemson. And then I've been back here, for 2 years. So this will be my 3rd year back. So I mean, I've done this thing. I've done a lot of games between the two. So I've seen a lot of great crowds and a lot of great games, and have a lot of great memories in the rivalry. I don't necessarily think I don't remember anything being yelled, but they're going to get on you, and that's just part of it. It's what makes it special, but I don't really focus on it too much. Like, I got a job to do, and
yeah,
And, it's really about the players. I don't get too nervous, about it now. It's about the players. Our job's to get our players ready to play the Tigers, and it'll be up to them. It'll be up to them as far as, who wins this series. So
can you see our he can't see that. Phil, he can't see the chat box, can he? Now he can. You see who that is?
I do not. No, I'm on my iPhone, so I haven't. Who we got chatting?
It's Maddie. She says she can remember a couple of things.
Yeah. Well, she grew up in it, so she's seen. So Maddie, I'm assuming you're talking about Maddie Lee, my daughter.
Your daughter.
Yeah. She's seen more baseball than most grown men watching this show. So she was crawling around in diapers watching baseball games. So she's seen an awful lot of them.
She's seen everything. She's seen Rimley's Point.
Oh yeah.
To Patriots Point, to the Sarge, to the Upstate, Doug Kingsmore, and of course now at Founders Park. I'm sure she can remember plenty.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
on both sides. Look, man, I know you got a job to do, and so we need to let you go do that job. But always love seeing you, and we'll look forward to. I was talking to Kyle Jordan yesterday. I said, "You want to go to the game next week with me?" Oh man, I don't know, man. Too many people try to talk to me down there. I was like what? You're popular? You haven't played in 15 years. Nobody knows who you are anymore. So, but we might. I mean, I'll be there, so we might try to wind up a crowd and come down and say hello. But I got your hat, so I got to bring you your hat anyways. But best of luck, bud. Good to see you. Go get them this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is the best series in the country, and we can't wait to see it start on Friday.
I appreciate you having me on. Looking forward to it as well.
Always, Monty. Thank you.
Yep. See you guys.
Monte Lee, the associate head coach of the Gamecocks.